Yo, hey, please forgive us for the technical difficulties that we're experiencing or had experienced in the beginning. Please forgive us. Something was happening with the videos we were trying to play and there was no sound. But as you can see, your brother has the physical copy of The Shrouded Lighthouse. It has finally landed in my hand. And, you know, I got it the day before yesterday or whatever. And I think I've shipped out close to 300 copies already. So The Shrouded Lighthouse is available right now. All you got to do is go to all you have to do is go to theshroudedlighthouse.com. Can you guys hear me? Can they hear me good?
Yes.
I want to hear from y'all in the chat room. Can y'all hear me? Put up a fist. Let me know. Put up a fist that you can hear me good. My brother, big brother, Uncle Bobby is in the house. His name is Bobby Glanton Smith. Y'all can call him Uncle Bobby, but he's actually my uncle. This is how we're going to roll with it. He's in the building today. A little later in the show, former welterweight champion Victor Ortiz will be joining us via Zoom. Again, I just want to promote a few things real quickly, then me and Bobby are going to jump into the topic that Victor is going to join us in. Again, The Shrouded Lighthouse is available right now. Almost a third of the 2,000 copies that I had printed up are gone. So if you want, thank you, brother. If you want your copy, don't hesitate. Go to my website, theshroudedlighthouse.com, and get your copy now. Also, Total Package Energy. You guys are well familiar. You know about Total Package Energy, their energy shot, their B12 shot, their pea protein. Please, please, please support this black-owned business, which is situated out of Oakland. Total Package Energy. I approve of their products. I use their products, and I want you to do the same. Also, X-Wolf. Please go to X Labs Sups. This is a testosterone booster created from all herbs. Tonkat Ali, Panax, ginseng, all herbs. Maca root, the whole 9 yards. This is the black version of what you see. Somebody said, make sure you autograph. Everybody copy getting autographed in this first round. Don't worry. Everybody copy is getting autographed. You got it. But yeah, this is the black version of Nugenics. You know what Big Frank is promoting, the Big Hurt. He promotes this brand. It's GNC. We don't know what's in that. This is black-owned X-Wolf. Just go to xlabssups.com. Tell them Zoe Williams sent you. Support, 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 support. Also, HuriKane Report. Check. You got it, Sarah? Hey, there you go. Write it, take action, maintain freedom. The HuriKane Report, H-report.news. This is the Black Al Jazeera. In other words, they have news stories that are specific to African Americans, or whether you call yourself Moors or Hebrew Israelites or ADOS or FBA, all the different names that are out there. This is a news source specifically designed for us. Go to h-report.news. Let's get right into it, Bobby. We don't have a lot of time. Bruh, me and Jeff Brown went to John Muir High in Pasadena. They've got a program specifically designed for these young men. It's a mentorship program specifically designed for these young men, man, that need guidance. And it happens in a nanosecond because it happens on their lunch. So they get maybe a 30-minute lunch. So what the organizers have done is brought in people such as myself. I called Jeff. They didn't know about Jeff, but, you know, I was like, Jeff's son go to John Muir High. So make sure your son is at the mentorship meeting. Jeff came through and blew it off the roof, blew the roof off, man. It was fire, man. These kids really needed that, and you could see that they were engaged and connected because it was manhood in the building, and we was talking about what to expect, what's coming, being a young man, managing your time, taking responsibility, being accountable. We went through the whole gamut in 30 minutes. And, you know, like I said, the organizers, instead of them going to go get their lunch, they provided, you know, the food for them so they could be in there eating while they're getting this information. And, you know, John Muir High, man, let me just say this, man. John Muir High ain't the John Muir High of yesteryear. John Muir High produced legends, Octavia Butler, Inger Miller, Stacey Augman, Ricky Irvings, Chad Brown, hell, shit, Jackie Robinson. You know, this John Muir and Pasadena was a black city, 45, almost 50% black. Now it's about 5 to 7% black. So John Muir almost lost, I think, no, at one point it lost its accreditation and was, you know, on the borderline of getting shut down. And what's the best way of getting black people out of a city you don't want them in, Bobby?
There's a lot of ways.
What's the best way?
Lock them up.
Lock them up? That's a good way, for sure. What about regentrification?
Well, that's a lot more expansive and quicker.
Yeah.
And it's quite effective. We see that across the country. You know, I haven't been able to go anywhere around the country in the last few months where I haven't seen evidence of Negro removal.
You see them cranes. When you see them cranes, please understand, it's almost time for you to go. You see them cranes, you see them people walking their dogs in neighborhoods they ain't never been in.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Wait, is that Negro removal?
Negro removal.
Urban renewal translation is Negro removal.
So that leads me to today's topic, man. Resilience, resolve. We've been under attack as black men, Bobby. And I want to hear, like, I want to hear your perspective. How do we survive? How do we overcome? How do we remain positive? Because when you look at the situation of the world today, November 4th, you ain't going to be able to go nowhere without that card.
In where? What city or what state?
That's what I'm saying. Because I know New York is going to do it, California is going to do it, and typically when the two big dogs do it, the right hand and left hand, East Coast, West Coast do it, other cities begin to do it, even though we got Tennessee revolting, we got Texas revolting.
Mississippi,
Talk to me, Bobby. How do we survive what's impending, what's coming?
Well, if you're not willing to move to those states that have yet succumbed to this wave of fear, then you have to either acquiesce or accept limited mobility for now. Now, all of this stuff is ultimately going to be resolved in the Supreme Court because these issues are going to reach that level of ascension very quickly because with the abortion thing, my body, my choice, that's going to the Supreme Court. And either Roe versus Wade will survive or that will no longer be the rule of law. Right. So that's one element. And with the court so heavily weighted with Republicans right now, it's a good chance that that's going to be overturned. On the other hand, my body, my choice is not applicable to COVID-19. And again, it's going to be interesting to see how the court ultimately rules on that. Because there have been incidents already where they tried to impose these new guidelines, like in Chicago. The police union in Chicago said we reserve the right not to take the jab.
We're not doing that.
And the powers that be buckled. Same thing happened with the police department in San Diego. They tried to implement that same.
And it was like, nah.
Do or not, and they were like, we ain't having that. And then Southwest Airlines, the pilots shut the airlines down for two days. It was like 1,000 flights a day got canceled.
Really?
And they backed up. So this is a very fluid situation right now.
Right.
And it might be some strange bedfellows come out of it. In other words, organizations you would never think that would align themselves around anything will actually lock arms on this issue. The Proud Boys and a lot of those far right-wing organizations, they leading the charge on this, no jab for them. And there'll be some ancillary groups that also feel the same way about that. So this is far from over with, quite frankly. But it's a scary period in between that. And like I was in Tennessee for 3 weeks. And I went to a football game with my great nephew, who is a freshman at this one school there. And it's a big game. Murfreesboro Oakland High School is ranked number 9 in the country because we got a history of winning state championships down there. And anyway,
come on, talk about Murfreesboro. Come on.
Their rival Riverdale has also won a number of state championships.
Yeah. So
it's a big game. So there's 10,000 people at this football game. You couldn't find a mask nowhere in sight.
Really?
Matter of fact, they don't even bother about pretending that you got to have a mask to do it.
Come on in here and watch this damn game.
Not just that, restaurants, public facilities, it's wide open, man. It's wide open. So states' rights still carry weight around the country.
Right. Well, the states are sovereign.
Yeah.
So, you know, a governor could be like, nah, we ain't with that, like in Texas. No.
Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, they have really just gave Biden the finger on a whole lot of this stuff.
There you go. Yeah. So, Bobby, when I talk about resilience, we see it because it's kind of taught in organized sports, right? If you're going to be successful, you're going to have to go through some things. You're going to have to fight. You're going to have to grind. You understand? But in general, what is our rites of passage as black men? Some would say sports, but not everybody is in sports. And sports is kind of like modern day slavery in a lot of ways, because a lot of capitulation goes with being an athlete. You can't do, you saw what Wiggins said. I felt like this wasn't my body, right? I felt like I'm not even in control of my own body. If I want to play basketball, I got to do this. I felt forced. That's what the brother said. So, but also when you're training, when you have good coaching, when they're teaching, I think there's something to be said about teamwork. I think there's something to be said about developing inner resolve. How do we get it if we're not in organized sports?
It's a fair question, and my best answer is this. It's way bigger than sports.
Talk to me.
And again, I have to look back in order to equate what we're dealing with now. And that is, whether you play sports or not, if you don't instinctively and intuitively understand that Darwinism is real.
Come on, man.
It's the survival of the fittest. It has nothing to do with playing sports. It's understanding that if you're not in a position to impose your will, somebody else will do that for you.
They're going to impose their will on you. Yes, yes.
And right now, it's going to have to take a certain amount of instinct for a segment of our population to survive.
Right.
They're just going to have to know that I can't keep doing what I'm doing because it's on me.
Right.
You know, and for others, it's inbred that they have to have a level of self-determination.
Right.
So it's going to be a confluence of both individual comprehension of what it takes to survive, number one, and then seeking out common sources of energy.
Right.
And we've already been doing that for a number of years now. And the problem is our group has grown smaller, but in some ways tighter. Because we real clear about it. There ain't but a few of us that we can turn to.
Right.
Because everybody else has either capitulated or they gone.
Right. I've read something, I think it was Phil Jackson in Phil Jackson's book, when he talked about certain players have an internal drive and other players have an external drive. And he was saying that external drive, you have to do something to spark them to want to play. So a player with an external drive, you got to be like, good job, and a pat on the back, and keep going. We need you, and that guy. Then he says there's guys like Kobe, Michael Jordan, these guys that are, I am internally motivated to go after what I want to do. And it's really interesting what you're saying as we juxtapose that to real life. Life ain't gonna pat you on the back. Life is not gonna encourage you to get out there and go get it. You have to have some kind of light switch on the inside that you flick on yourself in order to survive these times. Because this is in my opinion, this is one of the best times to ever be alive, because it gives you a clear example. You're not really the author of your life unless you take the pen, unless you got the courage to take the quill and start writing it out yourself. Because these people are writing it for you and saying, this is what you're going to do, or you don't get to participate. Now, like I know, black men have been public enemy number one. Black fathers have been public enemy number one. During this time, how do we come together, Bobby, and put all differences aside and form some kind of coalition? You saw what those black men did down in Louisiana. Dads on duty.
And were very effective.
Talk to me, Bobby. How do we make that a model? Because you say this all the time, model's a possibility.
Well, it's real simple. You don't have any choice. Let me repeat that.
Talk to me.
It's real simple. We have run out of options.
It's this or nothing. Bobby, don't play with him. No. It's either get together or get gone.
You're going to get ran out of town, man. It's a wrap, man. There's nowhere for you to go, and you can't fool yourself any longer into thinking that somebody's going to come and rescue us. It is not going to happen. And really, when you look at the order of nature, it's always been that way. You reach those points of critical mass, and either you are part of the group that's forging ahead, or you part of the group that's getting run over.
Period.
And so you can be delusional about it if you want to. It's nobody here to pick you up off the floor at this point, all right?
Right.
In my opinion.
Let me ask you this. Has the internet made a lot of black men sissified?
Not really. It has embellished a softer side of men when that's unsustainable. You cannot become anything other than what you are. Now you can, on appearance, do that, but innately, the fundamentals have not changed. I don't care if you put on a dress, you get a sex change operation. You can do all of those things.
Right.
You are still what you came here as. Now, however you alter yourself will afford you a limited amount of time under that masquerade.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's gonna come back to, the fundamentals, man. And if we don't reproduce, then whatever's left, it's gonna be scary.
Right.
It's gonna be really scary because it's based on something that has never been a part of the circle of life.
Right.
You see what I mean? In my opinion.
Well, this goes back to me and Jeff at John Muir High mentoring these young men. Do you know now one of them had their phone out? I asked them at the end of the lecture, I said, how many of y'all got a phone? They all raised their hand. But during that event, there was nothing written on the walls. That wasn't part of the rules that you can't have your phone out. Not one of those brothers had their phone out. And the reason why I'm making this point about the internet sissifying a lot of black men is because black men have taken to the internet to gossip. And back in the day, a gossiping man wasn't welcome in a circle of real men.
Well, they're mutually exclusive. There's men and there's males.
Talk to us about the difference, Bobby.
Well, a man has a code, if you will, but more important than the code is he actually lives by certain principles in an unequivocal kind of way.
Right.
What he say is what he means. He's not trying to be popular.
Right.
See, we done got into the era now where it's all about being liked.
Right.
And we will capitulate in order to be liked.
Right.
And that's when the wheels fall off. So the majority population is male now.
They not men.
No, they're not men because men, they don't leave any question about their manhood. It's certain things they're just not gonna do.
Right.
For no amount of money, or fame, or prestige, or whatever. They're just not gonna do that. And at this stage, the numbers have grown smaller but tighter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be really easy in a minute to identify the difference between males and men.
You wrote an amazing book called Let's Get to Work, right?
Yes, I did.
And talk to them about the personage you wrote about, because you blessed me with the opportunity to meet that man.
Yeah, you had him on
that brother
show,
was at the show, man.
Yeah,
Talk to me about that book and that man real quick.
It's ironic because just a couple of days ago, Mr. Gar's granddaughter-in-law, Shirobi Gar, reposted a picture that we took a few years ago. Mr. Gar's been gone 4 years now. He died at 102 years old. And he has some very simple precepts. One is, if you want to make a lot of money, you have to make friends. And he also lived by these principles. He said, whatever you think you own, you don't own it till you pay for it in full and you have the ability financially to retain it. In other words, if you buy a house, that house belongs to the bank all the way till you get the deed.
Right.
And you still ain't home free because you owe taxes and you need insurance.
Yeah.
Because if something happens to the house and it's not insured, it's gone.
It's gone.
All right, and if you don't pay the property taxes in a reasonable amount of time, it's gone.
It's gone.
And so he had this concept of always paying for things in full, and then making provisions for whatever mitigating circumstances could possibly compromise the ownership of that stuff. And the other thing that was so beautiful about Mr. Gar's life philosophy was his example. He never moved into Beverly Hills. He never moved to Palisades or anywhere like that.
Although he could have.
Yeah, easily.
Easily.
He said, Bobby, I done made my money here. And that's why he made where he lives, because he stayed in Baldwin Hills, all right? So what he did was he bought all the property when other people thought, man, you can't build on that side of the hill. And he said, you can't build on that side of the hill. I can.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And so what he did was he created his own fiefdom. And in the process, he was able to change the way people looked at their lives. You know, he hired people that he wanted to put into business, and that's what he did, because he knew it took the weight off of him on one level, and it also freed up more of his resources. So if he needed a plumber, he would get somebody, he'd carry them long enough to get all their licenses and everything, and then they would still work with him as opposed to for him. And he had the tax advantage of not having to assume that liability. And he replicated that in all of the different trades. And then he didn't just stick with the construction aspect of that. Anything that he got into, he made it possible for you to work for yourself. And in that way, he was able to breed independent, self-reliant people. And he was just as impactful as anybody. And there was people like that all over the country.
Right.
In a different era.
Right. In a different era.
As they died off, we lost that concept of breeding people who always understood they had to take care of themselves.
But see, now this comes back to my internet thesis here. The internet, YouTube and all that is ridden with gossip and nothing talk.
Well,
and people like that, man, can you imagine if the work that Mr. Gar did was all over the internet the way gossip is today?
Well, the reason
we would have a model.
Well, the thing is, you don't give up on the prospect. The fact we're having that conversation right now. Right. The name of the book is called Let's Go to Work.
Let's Go to Work.
Okay. Leon Theodore Gar.
Right.
And that book is instructional in that way. This man was born in 1914. During the last major pandemic, the Spanish flu pandemic, where many more people died. It was in the millions of people died during the pandemic. He was stricken with the disease of that era, and the doctor told him that he wouldn't live to comb gray hair. He was on the gurney, and the man put the sheet over him, and out of that he had lifetime complications. Worse than that, he only had a 3rd grade education. He was born in Ruston, Louisiana, okay, and St. Bernard Parish, and the only thing that prevailed was the fact that his parents were owners of land, and they understood the value of ownership of land.
Real
and
estate.
they passed that on to him. So we have to do this incrementally, because if we think too big, then it's not going to happen. It's unrealistic.
Right.
But if we just keep speaking of not just models of possibility, but best practices.
Right.
I'll give you an example. I got a call yesterday from Dr. Howard Henderson. He runs a major administration at Texas Southern University in Houston, Texas. And he called me and told me, he said, look, man, I done turned into a horse over here. He's raised $11 million for the school. But things are changing rapidly in terms of, you know how white people had so much fluff, and they still got it, but they're now holding people accountable when they give you these grants and all that kind of stuff. And he said, man, I need you to hook me up with some people to get stuff done. First call I made, Wendell Stimley.
Wendell Stimley. You can't lead people if you can't feed people. Come
right.
on, Wendell Stimley.
Right.
Let's go.
and then I called the Donna job.
Yes.
Because see, the food crisis is as big as the pandemic. It's bigger, actually.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because first of all, the food that's no longer on the shelves at the store is actually a good thing, because it's dead food, and it's a reason why your
Not good
immune
for you
system
anyway.
cannot defeat COVID or anything else. All
Starts
right?
with what you eat.
Absolutely. So I made those 2 phone calls, and then I called Kwame Brown. I said, Kwame, you're a proponent of several principles that would afford you the opportunity to be a part of this coalition that we're putting together to affect change, first in Houston, and then we're going to find other cities where we can implement the blueprint. And then I called nephew Tommy, because he's from Houston, Texas. He didn't graduate from Texas Southern. He went to Texas A&M, but it doesn't matter.
Don't matter.
You see what I mean? His roots are in Houston. So it's about putting models together, not just a possibility, but ones that can be replicated.
That's why I say, you know, for me, we're misusing the internet and the power of its platform. There should be more shows like this.
Well, it will be once we continue to do what we're doing, and as things get more and more difficult,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, necessity is truly the mother of invention.
We gonna see, right?
You're gonna either get it or you're gone.
You gonna get it or you gotta
And
go.
I'm gonna miss some of these people that just keep sitting there
What they doing? They praying?
and looking up and everything, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna get hit in the head. You're ready to get hit in your head, man.
Somebody asked about Victor Ortiz. He's gonna be on at the top of the hour, 6 o'clock, okay? Thank you for inquiring. He'll be on. Right now, me and Bobby are talking about
Let me just
resolve.
interject something real quick, because it ties into resolve and models of possibility. This shirt right here, Circle of Discipline, is a reflection of something that works. I have been to Minneapolis a couple of times. Right after George Floyd died, I stood where the man put him down. And the people that I deal with, they're 3rd generation Minnesotans. They got country roots there back, but they've been out there for 3 generations. And what they did was they stayed the course. And now they are producing world champions. I'm going to Vegas tomorrow morning, and one of our fighters, Jamal Shango James, who is the WBC interim welterweight champion, will defend that title against an undefeated Cuban fighter. And if he wins, he gets a mandatory fight with the current WBC welterweight champion, and that's Ugas, the guy that beat Manny Pacquiao.
Oh, wow. Here
All
we
right,
go.
So, and then also in the entourage will be David Morrell Jr. Out of Cuba. Yeah, to show you the stories that we have to tell, and don't worry about all these other stuff that we can't control. You know about it now. David Morrell Jr. was sent from Cuba to America to go from that warm tropical climate to Minneapolis because of Sankara Frazier's training methodology.
Right.
6 fights later, he's the interim super middleweight champion of the world, and Canelo better stay as far away from him as he can get, because this boy here can thump, man. All I need him to do is get better English, man, because every time I tell him, I told him the other day through translation, I said, look here, man, next fight, quit messing around. You know, I'm 67 years old now, and my nerves is bad. I can't take all that shit.
Knock his ass out
Get it
quick.
over with, man. Yeah.
Somebody's asking right now, they said, who's the author of the book, Let's Go to Work?
Looking at him.
It's him. It's Bobby Glanton. How can they get that book, man?
If you want the book, I very rarely do this because there's copies and copies sitting at Mr. Gard's grandson's home where Mr. Gard used to live at. And so it's been inactive for a while, but we got copies. If you want to get a copy of the book, reach me at Bobby@realmendon'tplay.com. That's BOBBY@REALMENDON'tPLAY.com.
That's right. And you might as well get Real Men Don't Play.
While you're at it.
While you're at it,
Yeah.
if you might as well get both his books, right?
Yeah.
Real Men Don't Play, as well as Let's Go to Work, both authored by Bobby Glanton Smith. So I love when you on the show because we talk like we talk off the air, right? My thing though is when I saw those kids yesterday and how dialed in they were, and I talked to the brother that put the whole program together, it just woke me back up to know like our kids are in trouble.
Okay, I need to ask you to do something expeditiously.
Talk to me.
Whoever that brother is, if he can't internally get the resources, then he need to raise them and make that a curriculum thing. Or it's going to be a flash in the pan. And that's the worst thing you can do to a kid that has already identified that I know I need some help. That's why nobody had their phones on, because they know this is what I've been missing right here. Because, you know, either you get them or you don't.
Right.
You see, because I taught the American life management skill
that's
curriculum
right.
at Crenshaw High School, right?
Yeah.
And man, I needed a whip in a chair the first couple of days, man, because they'll send anybody in there.
A
you know
whip
what
in
I
a
mean? Oh yeah, man, they were trying to punk me and clown me and everything.
Really?
Then they found out I knew Big U, and it was a whole different situation.
Yeah,
You see what I mean?
okay.
So that brought me the time to move from fear motivation to I love y'all.
Yeah.
And y'all need this because we need you.
Right.
See, you can't do that in 30 minutes.
Right.
You have to go through the whole process of connecting to them and having them understand that, you know what, I'm gonna demand this out of myself.
Right.
And I'm gonna demand this out of this school.
Right. I posted pictures
I saw them.
from yesterday, and what was cold was the bell rang. They got to get to class.
They wasn't ready to go.
They was outside talking to us.
Yeah.
One youngster was like, man, talk to me about overcoming fear.
Yeah.
And we had, Jeff was talking, I asked Jeff, let this man, and he got to get to class. Lunch was over.
But see, that's the thing about it. They knew the next class they went to was gonna remind them why they ditching school in the first place.
Talk to us, Bobby.
I went through that over at Crenshaw, man. It was like, once you get a young person's attention, and it goes back to something I write about in Real Men Don't Play that I learned from Harry Pickens.
Right.
And that is, that which you seek purely in your heart is also seeking you. You and I talked about that a lot in terms of my relationship and kinship with you. I needed that. I needed access to a father who did what I didn't do. And as a result, we were able to equally sow into, not equally, but sow into your son's life in a way that's for a lifetime. He gonna always be able to say, what's up, and I'm gonna always do anything I can for him. These are the kind of associations we have to breed, one relationship at a time.
I'm willing to share equal billing with Bobby. Because Bobby done did some shit that I wanted to do that I ain't did.
And that's what the village is about, man. You know what I mean? Good cop, bad cop. You
Hey,
know? Yeah.
we had Cal State Fullerton. And New is with Fresno State. And you know, New was balling that year too. And it was early in the year. Bobby saw some shit he didn't like.
And went and told New, man.
And Bobby went to the bench.
coach.
They
Yeah.
sitting in this the motherfucking walkway. Bobby walked right by the bench. Fuck that. Shoot the goddamn ball.
And left.
I said,
Because
and then
I-
walked out the door. Bobby.
If I'd have stayed, I'd have jumped on the coach, man. I'd have made, and that game was televised. I'd have made television.
Bobby would have been on TV.
Yeah, because I was ready to swing on him, man, because it was ridiculous, man.
Said, when you get the ball, shoot the goddamn ball. I said, oh, come on, Bobby.
Couldn't take it no more, man.
Now,
And
you
your
know-
point was you wanted to do
I
that,
wanted to do that.
but you couldn't do it, and that's why I had to get on out of there, man, because I just couldn't watch no more of that.
Well, you know, Bobby, I didn't have my moments. I done
Yeah,
went off at the,
yeah.
at the high school. I said, I can't do it in college now. Damn.
But it was the only reason he got to college. You see what I mean? Because they'd already fixed the table over there the way that they wanted to spread the butter. And you like, no, we ain't really gonna do that. And so we just had this conversation yesterday or the day before. And I don't mind sharing it with the audience if you don't.
What?
I told you, I said, look, man, I've seen this before. My guy Sam Watson
Oh, yeah.
had a son,
No, they just mumbling in the background. Go ahead, Bobby.
Sam Watson had a son named Brandon Watson, who everybody thinks is one of Al Hamer's sons, because
Right.
he's in the ring at all the fights. Been
But
since
he looked
was
just
a
like
kid.
Sam.
Yeah. But nobody's ever seen Al Hamer, so they wouldn't know.
Right.
All right. So what happened was, Sam was a great baseball player, and his son took after him in that way, and he played out at Westchester. Okay, and you know, drew the kind of attention that he got drafted by the Montreal Expos organization.
Oh, nice.
And he went to single A ball. Okay. By then, he had already been driving new cars and you know, money in his pocket and been seen on television.
Right.
So the single A coach was driving a bucket, and immediately, you know, started really, you know, putting shade on the kid, right?
Right.
Didn't
Yeah.
stop him though. But by the time he got to AAA, he was breaking records. All right. And by the time he got to the major leagues, he homered in his first at bat, and you thinking he getting ready to really roll. But the resentment of him having a father was so strong. They just said, because back then, at that point, that's when you start seeing little attention to black baseball players, you know, at that point. And now it ain't,
Sure, Bobby.
it ain't damn near ain't none now. But the point I'm making is, I saw what happened because he had a father in his life. And then by the time I got to know you, it was part two.
Well,
Because when your son went to Auburn, you know, as soon as he got down there and you start showing up, all of a sudden the rotation changes. You see what I mean? And I'm like, this is act two, you know? And we have to talk about these things because black fathers are, first and foremost, rare.
yeah.
And real black fathers are a problem because you don't get to rob their kids. You see, because as long as they got just the mother to deal with, she's not normally paying attention to the details. There are exceptions, like Lamar Jackson, the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens. That sister don't play. She got some Fannie Lou Hamer in her, some Ida B. Well. She said, first of all, I'm the agent. We keeping that 6% here at the house.
Fannie Lou Hamer.
Yeah, second of all, I'm gonna choose the realtor till they buy the house and my son gonna get ready to buy it. And he ain't gonna look like y'all.
Right.
So it reverses all that money. And that's the real problem. You redirecting too much money that they are accustomed to getting once they take a prodigy
Yeah.
and turn him into a corporate asset.
It's like the record industry. I got a CD. Whoever produces the CD, and I'm talking about manufacturing the jewel case, the
right.
physical CD, that's a whole separate industry. So the record industry would break bread with them,
Absolutely.
right? So, of course, they said, we're going to say this is piracy, You know, once the internet comes along and Apple comes along and rewrites the whole rule book, because that broke down their industries that they all got kickbacks from. And if they can't get a kickback off your kid,
then it's a problem.
it's a problem.
Because it breaks the chain of economic control. That's what happens.
You got to give LeVar Ball credit
On that level.
because he pushed the envelope so far that the G League became a secondary league that pays big money so kids can skip college because he started his league.
Right,
And they said, well, we can't have that.
No, that's exactly what
So you
happened.
got to give LeVar Ball credit for that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's them saying, let's create this G League situation to keep this money.
Okay, 6-0, bro.
Let's get him. Can we get him, Sarah? Can we get Victor Ortiz?
What do we need to do to get it?
He said he sent another email to him with the updated information like 5 minutes
Just
ago.
call him, Bobby, and tell him we ready for him.
Okay.
He needs to use that to get in. There it is right there.
What?
No, it's in the mic.
Oh, okay.
I had to send the new information.
Yeah, Bobby, just call him, man, and tell him we ready for him and get online.
Okay.
We trying to get Victor Ortiz online right now. For everybody, I saw a couple of people, man, hit that super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Please do so. The channel respects and appreciate all the twos and fews that y'all throw our way. For everybody that has done that already, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you guys are getting something out of today's show.
Hey,
It's
we
grown
ready for
man
you.
talk.
You ready to go?
No, I'm not. I'm waiting. I'm about to exchange my papers.
I love Bobby. Bobby is.
Huh?
I'm just right here in the parking lot. The moment she's done.
I don't want to talk over Bobby, y'all. Forgive me.
Okay. It'll be another couple of minutes.
Another couple minutes.
Yeah,
that's right.
because like I told you, man, he's
he got his kids.
Not just that. She can be late, but he can't be late.
That's a whole nother situation. Bobby, I know. Come on, man. That's a whole.
He gonna hit me back.
He gonna hit you back. So I understand.
Yeah.
And that's another. Let me just say that. That's another mountain we gotta climb. There is such a rift between black men and black women. How do we prepare these young boys to deal with the new world order when it comes to relationship?
And that's not. That don't just apply to young boys. It applies to young girls too.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, some of these things, it can trend all they want to, but the final destination is unsustainable.
Right.
All right. At some point, there has to be, at least enough boys and girls that like each other that they reproduce.
Come on, Bobby.
That they reproduce.
Tell them about the birds and the bees. Bobby, come on.
I mean, it's your choice who you go with and everything, but I'm telling you, when it comes to having these kids now, it's a whole different
thing.
proposition now, And see, that's why Lil Nas went too far with that, I'm pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
You see
Oh,
what I mean?
Lord, he
To
did.
sell some records, yeah, okay, I don't know how the record sales went, but I know what didn't happen.
You didn't get pregnant.
You didn't pop one off, you know what I mean? That did not happen, all right? And so that's the thing, again, there's been deviation since the beginning of time, but not to the extent where it threatened the order of the universe to the extent that it has now.
So you saying the whole order of the universe is threatened?
It's in trouble, man. It's in trouble because it's unsustainable, man.
Right.
It's unsustainable. And people are so selfish, they just worried about their lifetimes,
Right.
you see. And we have to restore the understanding that some of us who have gotten older, our roles have changed. We must teach. We must teach, man.
You got a mentor.
Yeah.
Not just at John Muir High, but
That's every day, man.
in your house.
Yeah.
You got a mentor.
And down the street and around the corner too, you see.
Man.
Or else you assuming that they're gonna get it from somewhere and they know where for them to get it from. The fundamentals of life, man.
Yeah.
This shit is not gonna be easy. And if you cut corners, you're heading for derailment.
So in terms of relationship today, you got a 21-year-old. How do you get him prepared to navigate these waters?
If you waited till he's 21, it's gonna be a problem. I'm telling you, man.
But he's 21 and he done had you his whole life.
You're doing rehab, man. If he's 21 and
You doing rehab.
yeah, you doing some reconstruction, and that's possible, but it's easier, man, if you deal with them when they're younger. Because while I was home for those 3 weeks, I had a chance to be around, the greats and the great greats that are part of my tree.
Yeah.
And it was just fascinating, man, to watch people be nervous when they thought, well, they ain't been around you. I'm like, look, they know.
They know who you are.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna make them know, because I'm all over 'em.
Yeah, I probably said I'm all over him.
I look like a giant to them, man. And it just takes me back to when I was little. I didn't have no, you couldn't talk back to grown folks, man.
No,
You know what I mean? And you didn't even think about it because they look so big. Because I remember going back to my elementary school years later, and it looked so small, man.
It's little now. Ain't it?
Yeah, because the lockers was right here and
Yeah.
everything. It's like, wow, man.
As a
And it
grown
just
up, you
reminds
like,
me
whoa.
of the advantages you have because you're bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot bigger. So I wish you would buck up on me. And you 5 years old, man. I'm gonna scare. Look, you gonna have nightmares about me. I ain't putting up with that. I ain't negotiating with no little 5-year-old terrorist.
I'm not negotiating with a 5-year-old terrorist.
No, because you let him get 10. And by the time he's 15,
Yeah.
he is a terrorist to you.
Yeah. But if you notice, Bobby, when New was coming up, you was one of the inner circle folk. And the only reason why is because you got wisdom. And I knew that then. I said, nah, man. That motherfucker call your phone. This is the conversation I had with New. That motherfucker call your phone, pick it up. Because he got some good words for you, dog. And you need to listen. Now, I know you ain't gonna not listen to me because I'm gonna fight you. He knew that off top. Dad, he told my youngest son, when my youngest son came to live with us, he told him, he said, listen, man, Dad is laid back as long as you listen. If you don't listen to him, he gonna pop off out of nowhere. That's what he told my youngest, Naeem. Because Naeem was homeschooling at that time, and his mom gave him to me and was like, yo, get him right. And we told him, like, hey, as long as you do your work, you good. And New took him off to the side. See, that's how I know your impact affected New in a really great way. Because he didn't wait for me to tell him to go talk to his little brother. He pulled his little brother to the side and said, listen, he cool. Dad is cool as a fan until you don't do what he asks you to do. And then he'll pop off out of nowhere. And my daughter told him, she said, listen, man, we read over here. She told him, and she was like 12. She said, listen, we read over here, bro.
It's environment, man.
You see?
It's critical, man, because we're all creatures of habit. So if you've been in a situation where nobody imposed certain standards, then it's easy for you not to even relate to that.
Right.
But if you've been exposed to it, and sometimes you had to come back to it, but if you ain't never been exposed to it, man, it's really, really a tragic situation, man, with young people, because they just don't know.
Yeah.
They just don't know, because once you know that they know, you can hold them accountable for their decisions. Because if you're telling me you're gonna try your way, then good, I get it. But you ain't gonna try it in here.
Right.
You're gonna have to go out there in the world and get knocked around a little. And if you're successful, I'm happy for you, because all I wanted you to do was be able to take care of yourself.
That's it.
You see?
Yeah.
And you got to learn that here, because it ain't gonna, especially in this day and age, you ain't gonna get it nowhere else.
And like I said, life don't give two shakes of a fat rat's ass about you.
Ooh, man.
You see? Now, you'd rather take these licks from me. These mental licks, these psychological licks, and sometimes some physical licks.
Yeah.
You might as well come get this from me.
Have you heard this phrase before? I'm sure you did. Especially with mothers. This is gonna hurt me, more than it's gonna hurt
I've heard
you.
that.
I'm
I've
like,
heard
no
that.
way in hell.
I've heard that for sure, Bobby.
Oh, I done got the flesh tore off my ass. It's gonna hurt you more than it's gonna hurt me. You got to be out your mind.
No, this shit's still hurting. It's 3 weeks later. Yes, I've heard that. But I think as parents, we got to put down something that makes us better prepared to be parents and then get these kids better prepared. I posted something on my website or on my, Instagram, and I said, to me, a generational curse is kicking a kid out at 18 when he hasn't been prepared. A lot of times parents, especially in the black community, will kick a kid out.
He's getting ready to call now.
He ready?
Oh, no, look, man, it's part of the show.
No,
man.
we
Just come
good.
on in,
Tell him
man.
we good.
Just come on in. Yeah.
Y'all get him
Everybody
on.
looking for you.
Hey, man, everybody hit that like button. Hit that share button. Victor Ortiz is about to join us. Bobby, I'm going to let you ride because y'all got a show coming.
Well, this is part of the show because he is part of the Baby Brother Club. Now.
Oh, well, all right
and
then.
I've only known him for like less than 2 months, man, but it was time for us to meet. And like I said, it's all about teaching.
Right.
And he was a willing student immediately.
Really?
Immediately, you know, and it didn't matter to me that he was an athlete, you know, a famous athlete and that. He had a good nature, and I thought I could contribute to, you know, his personal development.
Come on, Bobby.
And he raised his hand and said, "Yeah, man, I'm with that."
Come on, that's what we got to do, man.
I'm with that. You know?
That's what we got to do. And I want you to tell us when he get on how y'all met and what you said to him when you first.
About the nigga knows.
Let me tell you something, man. Bobby don't give a fuck, man, who you are. Bobby don't care. Let me tell you that right now. Bobby will tell you how you feel.
I care who you are. I don't care what you do.
There you go. Talk to me.
Big difference, you know, because what you do and who you are, it can be as wide as the ocean. You see,
Yeah.
I'm not in that bunch of folks that's gonna, you know, just kiss your ass because of what you do.
Right.
And if I don't see nothing in who you are that's compatible with who I am, then you know that's a game changer, man.
Man,
you
that's
know?
why Bobby in my circle, man. I listen.
Yeah.
Bobby wise, man. We got him?
Yeah, I'm going to.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's frozen right now.
Can we hear him?
It's supposed to be not.
Hey, hey, Victor.
Victor.
Can you hear?
No, he's froze.
He in the car. That
But
internet.
Can he hear?
Can you hear?
Hey, Victor.
Wait, put Bobby on the screen so he can see Bobby. I said
I
put
ain't worried
Bobby
about
on
him
the screen
seeing,
so
man.
he
It's
can
just
see
the
Bobby.
volume. If we can hear him, we can get this thing cracking.
Yeah, I turned the volume up. Let me see.
That thing is showing.
Oh, he's going back in.
There he is. We got him?
Still froze.
1 second.
1 second. She trying to get him. Obviously, he's in the car.
Yeah,
Somebody
because he just dropped off his 4-year-old and his 2-year-old.
Ah, got it.
And he's a great dad dealing with some unbelievable challenges, and
We'll talk about it.
and I admire him for that because that's one of the attractions, you know.
Yeah.
Folks that did what I couldn't do
Right.
at that particular time.
Right.
And my substitute was pouring into other people's kids. You know, best I could do.
Hello.
Yo, man, what's going on, Victor?
So sorry, but I just can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
we can hear you.
Yeah.
Just can't. The audio, the video is not coming in.
Well, don't worry about the video.
We'll just talk to him. That's cool.
I don't know what's going on, guys.
Well-
It says safe driving mode.
Because you're in the car.
iPhone, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Your microphone is unmuted. Your video is stopped.
But just tell him we could talk to
Hey,
him.
we can talk.
Video's right there.
What?
Okay. I can't see anybody, but
That's all right. We'll just talk to you, Vic.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Hey, sorry about that. I have my baby boys, and I've been fighting for custody of them. So their mom's pretty drugged up, man. So I don't like to be on the phone when I'm around her, because she'll try to just cause a whole fight and a scene and write the attorneys ASAP, like that I was on the phone neglecting kids and stuff. So I just rather not, man. Sorry.
No, man, we understand. We understand.
Hey, Victor, you're on the ZoWhat.
Yes, sir.
You're on the ZoWhat Mansion show with Zoe Williams. He's your other brother, okay, from another mother, okay. And at some point we're gonna come
Yes,
in.
sir.
You coming in studio with us because let me just, as you say, set it up. I met Victor Ortiz vicariously about a little over 2 months ago. My partner in the Westwood podcast said we're gonna do something different. We're gonna do a boxing podcast, and we had a list of people that included folks that he know. All right, and Sam Watson provided the list. And when I saw the name Victor Ortiz, the first thing I thought was, man, that's that dude that head-butted Floyd Mayweather about 7 times. Can you hear us, Vic? Vic?
I can hear it.
Okay, yeah, I know why you pausing, but I told him the truth. I said, man, yeah, man, you got what you had coming, man. You know, you out there trying to make good and make, I'm sorry, and the referee done told y'all, let's go to work.
Let's go to work.
They told y'all to go to work, and you trying to act like the Pope and shit, and Floyd went on and pow! And then that was a beautiful night, man, because that was the last fight they did at HBO.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they went over to Showtime.
Oh, wow.
And as a result, his whole career since then has been with Showtime.
Oh, nice.
You know, so if you would, Victor, tell them how this thing connects to you now being my little brother and us doing Counterpunch with Victor Ortiz and Bobby Glanton Smith. Did we lose him?
Did we lose him?
He's right. Can you hear?
Victor.
Oh, hello.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
We got
Can
you.
now.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just trying to say, I mean, I couldn't be more happy, you know, getting an opportunity like this. There's so many people in the world of boxing that, I mean, just to be picked out of the many, and then clicking with Bobby, man, we have so much in common, which is awesome. It makes it just natural, it makes it very real, because I don't have to shy or beat around the bush who I am, you know, so I'm excited, to be honest with you guys. And Bobby and I have shared some pretty awesome history with one another, and the one thing that we recently shared was, you know, is sure, God bless her, but she's going through some health issues where she's got dementia, and my dad didn't recognize me. This is the man that left me at 7, and he kind of just, man, he used to just beat me up, and him, I am who I am, but man, it was the saddest thing, you know, it was like, who are you? I'm like, oh, I'm your son. Who's your mother? I go, dude, come on, bro, are you serious, man?
Wow.
So it was crazy. We got to share that experience with one another, and I can actually, for one, understand what he's saying and where he's coming from. And it is sad because, I mean, this is the man who had me, but I don't even think he remembers. He has 22 kids. I'm Victor Ortiz on 5.
Wow.
22 brothers and sisters.
It's a sad ordeal, but you know what? I never hold a grudge on him. I used to think I would one day, but I do feel bad for him, though, because he's 82 years old now, or 81, one or two. And it's just losing it. But, man, that was a really cool subject to share with someone like Bobby, because, I mean, Bobby's been around the world, man. And I love hearing his wise advice and gives me the best expert advice, actually. And I asked him Bobby Pitt, too, when I'm feeling down, like, Bobby, man, can I ask you something? Yeah, what's up?
Right.
Hey, Victor, if you would, share with them what you came to California with a few years ago.
Oh, man. So I got here at 16 years old, and I had 1 pair of jeans and 3 T-shirts to my name.
Wow.
Hey, Bobby, I never told you this, but when I was in college, my major, I started my major in business, and when they hit with accounting, I said, hell no. So I instantly changed my major to English freestyle writing. And so I'm actually, that was my major in University of Kansas. So at the end of the day, I always wanted to write a book, and I always said I was going to call it One Pair of Jeans and 3 T-shirts.
Hey, but look where you are now.
And
Come on.
when you first started showing boxing talent, and let's just kind of fast forward because we're going to leave some of that stuff for the book that we'll eventually write. You told me that you were training on your own and had already made up your mind that that could possibly be a vehicle for a better life. And then a world champion, a man who had fought Muhammad Ali, came into your life. Tell a little about the relationship you had with the late Ron Lyle.
The greatest thing that there's this gentleman that would always see me come in with a baby car seat. My sister used to have a job during the daytime, so right after school, I'd go pick up my little nephew. But at the time he was about, I would say about 8 months old. So, but I always told my sister, I'm not gonna change if he proves himself. You know, that was me. But I was a kid myself, 15. And I would go to the gym every day with this little car seat. I walked a few miles to get there. I'd get there, I'd put him down with his pinky, and I started hitting the bags. I do my rounds, 1 round, 2 round, 10 rounds, and I'm still going in speed bags. He'd start crying. I go straight to him from his pinky, and he'd stop crying. And we put him right there. He could watch his uncle do his training. So one day he says, "Hey kid, I need to talk to you." I was like, "Oh, yeah." He goes, "Don't call me sir. Sir would be my father." I was like, "Sorry about that." He goes, "I'm Ron Lyle." I was like, "Nice to meet you." He says, "You don't know who I am, do you?" I go, "No, I'm sorry, I do not." He says, "You ever heard of Muhammad Ali?" I said, "Yes, sir." I go, "Who hasn't?" He says, "I'll beat that brother since." I beat that ass. And I was just like, I was thinking about like, this was crazy, you know?
Wow.
And sure enough, like a little after that, I was on a treadmill and there was ESPN Classics was on. I go, "Oh, this is, whoa." So then you see me come in every day. And one day he says, "Hey kid, can I tell you something?" I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, "If I come from prison to reach heights up here, above the lights, there's no reason why you can't do it." I said, "Thank you. I'm going to be the champ, sir." He goes, "What do you want at this?" I said, "I'm going to be the champ. I'm going to be a champion of the world one day." I said, "I just need to stay hungry and I'm going to get there." He says, "Well," I said, "Look, kid, I want to see you above the stars. And I have somebody I want you to spar with." And I'm like, "Okay." So he brings this guy in, you know, he's a little older than me, but, you know, he's shredded up. I'm like, okay, so now I go in there and I do my thing. I'm 16 years old and 15. I'm spanking this man from corner to corner. And then he says to me, "Hey kid, come here. You know who that is?" I said, "Don't matter. You don't belong here with me." So he goes, "That was Stevie Johnson."
Who was a world champion.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he whooped a world
Wow.
champion.
Yeah. Oh my God, "Hey, champ." And he goes, "Man, get the hell out. Shut up, man." I was like, "Oh, dang." So he goes, "Kid, you gonna go to the top. And I'm gonna be right here witnessing, telling you you're gonna all the way to the top. I'm gonna train you for this national coming talking about myself every single day. I'm gonna make sure that you come back victorious." And he trained me for the Junior Olympics and got me ready for the whole thing. Back gold medalist and outstanding boxer in USA, all under obviously and Ron Lyle, Mr. Ron Lyle. And it was just amazing because I pro debuted finally, and I said, "This is a picture of me in action in my pro debut," and I said, to your greatest creation, Victor Ortiz, love you, coach." And then, so a couple years later, he passed away. So it was
Wow.
sad, but you know, he was a beautiful man. He taught me a lot. He'd always lecture me, and finally, when he figured that baby was not mine, he's like, "Man, I'm sorry to hear that, kid." And I'm like, "No, that's okay. I take good care of him, but if he poops, though, I don't know how to change him.
So heck, I mean, Victor, because time gonna go really, really fast. You shared something yesterday when we were at Pachanga. Let me kind of set
No,
that
you
up.
good, brother.
We went to a pitch meeting because Counterpunch with Victor Ortiz and Bobby Glantown Smith is going to be something very unique. It's going way beyond the boundaries of boxing. And we'll deal with the dimensions of what you have to go through in life to be successful outside of the ring or outside of whatever your profession might be. So tell them what happened when you started showing the kind of promise that attracted the pros, the pro promoters, and you got an opportunity to deal.
And I got done, Jared. I was the Olympic trials that Ron got me ready for, wiped out the whole tournament. I didn't realize that there was people spectating me from Top Rank, from the Bob Arum, Cameron Duncan, and Garcia. And I'm just like, I didn't know anything about the sport, but they did this whole deal on the table behind my back, me not knowing. So they got me for $500,000, I think it was $500,000 between Robert Garcia, Cameron Duncan, and
okay, hold on. What was that figure again? Did you say $500,000?
That's what I heard.
about $500,000. But I didn't know any of this stuff,
So how much of that money did you get?
I didn't get anything. I had two jobs. Robert Garcia made me get a job. So I worked construction part-time, then rebuilding homes, and then I also worked for Allied Distributing for Red Bull. But all this time, I asked him, hey man, can you at least have credit at the time? So I said, can you please put your name up for me so I can maybe rent an apartment? So this man literally had been making money this whole time under the table, but he did 2 transactions behind my back I didn't know about. He went to Shelly Finkel first, sold me to Shelly Finkel. I had no idea. And then next thing you know, Shelly Finkel pretty much X'd me. And then I saw him and he's like, don't talk to me. I was like, what's going on here, man? And then sudden I found out later that Cameron Duncan and Robert Garcia made another deal with Top Rank. So main events and Top Rank under the table. I had no idea. Now, how much did he make off Shelly? I couldn't tell you. But I can tell you, he had new cars, he had another home that he bought. So I'm assuming he made some money. And then next thing you know, I get sued by Shelly Finkel. So now I had to start paying Shelly after every fight. I had to pay Robert Garcia. And then the whole beginning of my career was not good, man.
Wow.
I ended up with no money. And finally, my one break came. The one break was Floyd Mayweather. And that was the first time I actually made money. Before that, I'd make $1,200, $2,000. I think my highest payday before Floyd was my buddy actually got a company called D-Tech. And God bless him, and he's like my big brother. His name's Brock C.
Tell him to say
and Damian Smith. So Damian got me $100,000.
Ask him to restate
And these
that. Because we
people
couldn't use both.
found out that they got me.
Hey Victor, we're having technical difficulties. So you were talking about until you fought Floyd Mayweather, you really didn't make any money.
Yeah, and my buddy actually got me a sponsor, which is B-Tech, and then he gave me $100,000. When these guys found out that happened, they came in and they said that they had to take their share too.
So that's when you got sued.
Yeah, they tried to take my grant, but Rock stepped in. He said, "No, you're not touching my little butt money." So that was the first time I made a payday, and then after that was Floyd. So Floyd, thank God for Floyd, because Floyd actually gave me a way of life, a way of living. So I'm very fortunate to have shared the square circle with them. But man, people did me so nasty and so ugly and dirty that's why I have a nephew, Oscar and Richard. I just protect them.
That's Oscar De La Hoya you're speaking of, right?
And Oscar De La Hoya did them dirty, like with a capital D. And
wow.
I was just like, wow, man, I can't allow these people to keep doing this to to my family like myself, and it did me dirty enough. So these youngsters are not gonna learn the hard way like I did.
Wow.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about
Bobby, I want to ask him just one question.
Okay.
And then
Yeah, it
throw back
is.
to
It
you.
is a ZoWhat show. That's the only.
Hey, this is my big brother. I let him just run with it. It's all right. I just wanted to ask, since Floyd gave you that opportunity and it changed your life, and the fight ended the way that it did, kind of controversial. Did you
Kind
ever?
of controversial. Shit.
Yeah, it was controversial. Did you
Very
ever pull him to the side later and kind of mend that relationship? Did you guys ever like pull it back together?
You know what? It's interesting because like anytime I tried to talk to him after that fight, he would like give me like a cold shoulder, like he turned that way. If he saw me coming, he turned that way, move this way. He would never say hi to me. And then I was at the Super Bowl when it was up north. I think it was Arizona. Played against shoot, I forgot who they played. Maybe it was the Seahawks. Maybe I think. So I went up north, San Francisco, and I saw him there. But he had like at least 20 to 30 people with him, and all security started like trying to bombard me. I was by myself. Well, I was with my little friend from Kansas, like 5'5", and I was like, "What's up, Floyd?" And all his boys were like, "Man, F you little this and that," and I'm just like, "Whoa, shit." Then Floyd actually came up to him for the first time ever, and he took my hand, and I was like, "What's up, Floyd?" And he's like, and then his boys just kind of like pinned me up against the wall, like just harassing me, and I was just like, "Well, hi to you too, shit."
Oh God. Oh
Well-
God. So it ain't good.
Well, no, but here's what is good. Here's what is good.
I seen him now. I saw his son at one of these fights down here in and yeah, like,
Oh, he's breaking up.
Okay, we
Just telling me breaking up.
we're breaking up, Victor. Victor, we're breaking up. If we can get a better audio, I want to pivot into the good things that have happened with respect to the same association that Floyd has, that you have had, that you flourished under, and that's your relationship with Sam Watson and Al Heyman.
It's his phone.
Is his phone?
He's on his phone. That's why it's on it.
Hey, we
Okay.
sorry for the technical difficulties. When we get him back, we gonna put him right back on. We appreciate him taking the time
Yeah.
to even share with us, and he keeping it 100. That's why you like him. Yeah.
But in that interim, he has shared with me something that makes me really close to him. Because being a brown person in a situation like that, it would be easy for him to never even associate with black people again. Because Floyd was really out of pocket to do that. Because he gave the boy a lesson, and he got frustrated, and he started doing what he could to fight back, and it was outside the boundaries of the rules. And then when he realized what he was doing and he tried to apologize, it was too late to
Can't apologize in the ring, though. Can't do that in the ring.
But that's the kind of guy he was, you know, and
Protect yourself at all times.
But here's the thing, though. His own people that did him wrong.
Ah.
You know, the people in boxing, it really just, they took him to the cleaners.
Yeah.
But what he did was understand that, okay, by the time he got to De La Hoya, he's thinking, okay, I'm with my people now. And it got even worse for him. And then Al Heyman realized what was going on, and without breaking the rules, he saw that this was a good kid. And he told him, he said, look, man, your contract is in play. He bought him out of his contract with Oscar De La Hoya. Al Heyman did, with Sam's cooperation. And so they took over his career, and he has been able to eat, okay?
And listen.
And will continue to eat.
And this is how that fits directly into what our topic was, developing resolve.
Bro,
And that brother got it.
he's back?
Can you give him a call back?
Oh, and tell him to do
Hey, if y'all didn't think Victor Ortiz done been through some
what?
hell.
We're gonna bring him in studio, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know, because wait a minute, you guys got a podcast coming. My sports show is coming
Right,
this
right.
Saturday. This
Hey,
it's about to be crazy.
hey, I tell you what, man, you know, we're good. She said, what did you
I
say?
just needed to call back in because
Huh?
it froze.
it froze. I tell you what we're gonna do rather than
We'll bring
this
him
on
in.
this. We're gonna bring you in studio, and we got a couple other things we're gonna do. I just want to let you know I appreciate you, and
Tell him I said thank you,
he
man.
said thank you, and your family, man, and so. Okay, I appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you later, V. Thanks anyway for the try.
Hey, man, this was great. No, this was great, man.
Yeah.
Listen, hey, you go through shit. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah,
but
he
you
came
better
out of it a
learn.
better man. He really did,
Yeah.
because, like I say, the brown-black divide, it has caused unnecessary hardship on both sides.
Right.
All right. And he's the kind of person that is willing to say, you know what, I'm not going to put that on all black folk.
Right.
Because what Floyd did was worse than what he did. Once the fight's over with, okay? He continued to carry that attitude.
Animosity.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Toward a dude that just got caught up in trying to win.
Right.
And Floyd was the master, you know, and he learned that, man, that fadeaway is just, I got to try to get at him, you know.
This is what I love about you. This is what I love about Bobby. Bobby he not gonna choose no sides with you. Bobby told this man, I'm speaking of Victor, you told him straight up, like, that was dirty. And you paid for it. That's what
man. You can't be friends with somebody if you just, you know, you're not willing to test the water. And I knew that was his reaction to that was going to let me know whether he wanted somebody to kiss his ass or whatnot, or somebody that I could work with.
I had to learn that about Bobby. Bobby, he gonna test you.
I gotta know, man.
And then once he know, then you be like, oh shit, Bobby a whole cool motherfucker.
Yeah.
But he gonna test you first. I remember
gotta
when
know,
he first
man.
met Freeze Love.
I gotta know.
Like, who's your big yellow ass or some shit he said to Freeze. I said, wait, he talking to Freeze Love. You can't talk to Freeze Love.
Free love is free love, and I'm Bobby Gladys. I don't mean no harm, man, but you are a big yellow motherfucker, so what the fuck you want me to
He
say?
just said that. I said, wait a minute, what the?
Yeah, so
Hey, but I love that about Bobby. Bobby gonna keep it real with you, and if you can't fuck with him, he gonna
we
know
good.
early on.
Yeah.
He gonna know.
We good, man, because, you know, I just been raised like that. I'm going to try to get along with you because I'll lick you till I lick you clean. Then I can't lick you no more.
Then he can't lick you no more.
Bobby, you ain't licking, man.
You know, but this is such an exciting time because I put him with my roots doctor, and I got him working because he's 34 now, and he just
Still
fought,
young as hell.
Yeah, and he just fought on the undercard of the
Guerrero?
Manny Pacquiao fight. Yeah, he fought the Ghost.
Yeah.
And he got some wonderful stories that I'll save for when we get him in studio about the shit that they were talking about right when they were looking at each other before the fight started. Right? And because at that point, I didn't know I was going to be working with him. He was just on the list, you see.
Got it.
Because there was some other questions that had to be answered, man, because he lost the three prime years of his career to a false rape allegation.
This young man. Wow.
He lost 3 years of his career to a false rape allegation.
So
he
Bobby,
done been through some shit.
tell him, man, what is the name of the new podcast?
Counterpunch.
And where will it be seen?
We still in
listen
negotiations
to.
on that. See,
This boy Bobby be out here grinding. Y'all don't know.
like the bad brakes on a dump truck. Yeah, and so the little kids that he was talking about, they was with us yesterday. That picture that I sent, did you send it to her?
Yeah.
Can you pull it up? Yeah. Those are not really his blood nephews. But when he was a kid in the neighborhood he was in, their father kind of mentored him a little bit. The kids' names is Oscar and Richard Acevedo. They 23 and 25 respectively now. Oscar is 7-0, 7 knockouts. He was with De La Hoya too at one time. And so was Richard. Richard is 5-0, 5 knockouts. And they great kids, but what happened was, since their father, you know, kind of looked out for him because he was out there. He didn't have nobody. Victor didn't. And so those kids ended up getting close to him. That's why they like, you know, nephew kind of situation, even though there's no blood between them. And they tight. So they followed him from Kansas out here to California. And they're gonna be champions, man. because I got them with my people.
There you go.
See, I got them with my people.
Bobby got peoples. Y'all not knowing? Bobby took me to my first fight. Bobby was looking at me like, this boy don't go out nowhere. I don't, Bobby. I stay in my little.
You got to come to Pachanga with us, man, because that's what we're working on. I'm already claiming the relationship with Pachanga because the guy that introduced us to the pitch meeting we had yesterday, he said, man, you'll know in 15 minutes not whether they feeling y'all. And so 2.5 hours later, we were still up there with these folks. So we just got to work out the particulars and the details,
right.
you know, on how we're going to operate.
Right.
But I'm quite confident that we're going to have a long-standing relationship with the natives up in Pachanga.
The natives up at Pachanga.
No, yeah, they're Native Americans, man.
I know what you mean.
And they some good cats, man. And all of us got a little something in us, you know. Cause my grandmother was part Cherokee, you know, and Victor got some engine in him.
Some engine.
Yeah, and so they was cool with. What'd she say?
She said it won't let her put up the picture. You could just talk.
I'm sorry. It's not downloading on the computer.
Oh, that's all right, you know. Like I say, well, we'll be able to do all of that live because I'm going to bring the kids too, man. They good guys, man. And they are family.
And they about to be champions.
Yeah. I ain't seen them fight yet, but I can just look at them and tell, man, and the way they structured, you know. And they got that same look like, no, you don't really want none of that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You really don't want none of that. So it's really going to be great. And again, thank you for allowing
Come on, man.
me to just kind of bring my circle into this circle as we've done over the years. And like I say, it's the best and worst of times, man.
Yeah.
It's the best and worst of times. And I'm hopeful.
You better make the best of the worst times. That's what
that's
you better do.
man. Yeah.
That's what you better do.
For real, man.
So listen, 2 new sports shows. Bobby has a podcast.
Counterpunch with Victor Ortiz and Bobby Glanton Smith.
Counterpunch with Victor Ortiz and Bobby Glanton Smith. We will let you know where it's going to be. Remember, we told you guys about Westward, and Westward was dope.
Oh, we ain't done. It's just that when you're dealing with people that I'm blessed to deal with right now, the stuff that I'd have held on to, they were like, man, come on, man, we can come back to that. I'm like, wait a minute, bro.
Right.
Hold on.
You better get it right with Bobby. Hold on.
What's going on, man? And I'm going to show this to Paul. And I met another one of our new team members with Joy Road Entertainment, which is the name of the company that Paul Cashapp made me a partner in. And his name is Marcus Rubin. And he's part Italian, part Jewish, and he lives a Malibu lifestyle because that's where he lives. He lives in Malibu.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's going to be an important spoke in the wheel of what we're doing, man, because we got it looks like the United Nations when we walk in the room, man, you know, but I'm the only, you know, real one.
Ooh, real human?
No, the real dark one. But they all got, except Marcus, he ain't got no nigga nose, but Victor do. You seen that big snood that Victor got,
Oh,
man?
here come Bobby. Bobby finna put, hey, I'm telling y'all, he gonna keep it 1,000. He gonna keep it for real.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, real quick. My new sports show begins this Saturday, 6 p.m. on Tavis Smiley's radio network called KBLA. The show is called Nova Time with Zoe Williams and Nick Hamilton.
Who is Nick Hamilton?
He's a sports guy that used to do it. I gave him a show at Dash.
Oh, okay.
And he does a lot of sports coverage. He just covered the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah. On that picture right there is me, and that's Ken. Ken is the vice president of Pachanga Development. And that's Victor. And you look at, he got the biggest nose on there, except for my man to the far right, and that's Andrew Maciel Sr., and he's the president of the Pachanga Development Corporation. And man, it's a really, that's the first time I've been to Pachanga, okay?
Yeah.
And they got 300 acres, and man, as soon as you start coming on the grounds, man, you can feel that ancestral lineage, because they talked about that yesterday. They said, you know, everybody talking about America been here since whatever. He said, man, we've been here 10,000 years, man.
Man.
And it feels like that, man. I mean, it's just.
I'm gonna have to go down there, Bobby.
I'll tell you, man, we welcome, man.
Okay.
We welcome, man.
All right. When you guys get your show popping, I'm gonna slide over there.
That's my niggas right there, man. That's my niggas right there, man.
Do you hear Bobby in here wilding? Then I love Bobby.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man,
Good
listen.
people.
I appreciate everybody for chiming in today, for watching the show. I appreciate everybody for hitting the super chat. Don't forget, my new book is out. Very limited supply. The Shrouded Lighthouse. Go to theshroudedlighthouse.com. Order your copies now. Between yesterday and today, I've shipped out 300 copies. I got another 300 to go in pre-orders. We
That's
shipping.
super duper, man.
So
Yeah.
if you want yours to go out too, theshroudedlighthouse.com. Do it right now. Your book will go out within the next couple of days because I'm pushing. I thank everybody for their support. Thank you for supporting Bobby. Thank you guys for supporting Sarah and Donnie. They are doing better.
Amen.
They ain't gonna never get them dogs back. You know, they house burnt up and they dogs died in the fire. Man, so on Monday, we alerted the ZoWhat family, and there's been an outpouring of love, and they've been able to find a new place.
Great. Yeah.
But like I said, they can't replace them dogs.
Yeah.
Them dogs died in the fire, man. So I
It
want
could
to
have
thank.
been them, so let's look at it for what it
Yeah,
really
that's
is.
what I told her. It
Yeah,
could have been you. You could have been asleep.
Yeah.
But I told them, thank you guys for supporting them. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
So let me just make one more closing note. Anybody that want to communicate with me, you can do so through my email for now until we get all the other stuff, done. And that's Bobby, B-O-B-B-Y, at realmendon'tplay.com. REALMENDONTPLAY.com. And man, thank you once again for letting me
Be myself.
yeah.
Bobby! Hey, we appreciate y'all. We out. Deuces.